Have you ever studied something for hours, only to forget it the very next day? You're not alone. In fact, scientists have spent decades trying to understand why our brains forget, and more importantly, how to make learning truly stick, and what they discovered might completely change how you study. Let's start with a fascinating story. A group of medical students once trained to perform a delicate surgery, stitching tiny arteries together. They were split into two teams. Both got the same lessons, the same videos, and the same amount of practice time. But there was one small difference in how they learned. A few weeks later, when they were tested, one group outperformed the other by a huge margin. Their accuracy, confidence, and success rates all shot up. So, what made the difference? It wasn't talent. It wasn't more practice. It was the way they trained their brains. And the same principles can help you remember anything, from exams to skills to everyday facts. Let's break it down. Step 1. The power of retrieval. Most people think learning happens while reading or watching tutorials, but neuroscience says otherwise. Real learning begins when you try to recall what you've learned. When you test yourself, whether it's flashcards, quizzes, or explaining a concept to someone, you're not just checking memory. You're strengthening it. Each time you reach into your brain to pull out information, you activate the exact neurons that stored it earlier. This process refires those neural connections, making them stronger and more stable. That's why rereading textbooks or highlighting notes might feel productive, but it actually tricks your brain. The information is right in front of you, giving you a full sense of confidence. Instead, when you test yourself, even if you get it wrong, your brain learns more efficiently. Researchers call this the testing effect. It's like forcing your mind to exercise. Breaking a sweat builds stronger memory muscles. So next time you study, don't just review, recall. Step 2. Mix it up. The interleaving effect. Here's another brain hack few people know. Imagine you're practicing different math problems, or learning guitar chords, or studying anatomy. Most of us focus on one topic at a time until we master it. That feels logical, but it's actually slowing you down. Scientists discovered that mixing topics, a technique called interleaving, it makes learning far more effective. When you constantly switch between different problems or subjects, your brain has to re-identify the type of task, recall the method, and adapt. This back and forth strengthens your ability to retrieve information in any context. Think of it like training a muscle group from different angles. Your brain becomes more flexible, not just memorized on autopilot. It might feel harder at first, but that's exactly why it works. Struggle signals growth. So instead of studying chapter 1, then chapter 2, then chapter 3, try mixing them all together. Your brain will thank you later. Step 3. The spacing effect. Let time work for you now. Let's talk about when you study, because timing might be the most powerful trick of all. You've probably tried cramming before a big test, late night sessions, endless coffee, and pure panic. And sure, you might remember everything the next morning, but by next week, gone. That's because your brain needs time to organize information, to move it from short-term memory into long-term storage. This happens mostly between study sessions and especially during sleep. Your brain quietly replays and sorts what you've learned, linking it to older knowledge and strengthening those connections. That's why scientists recommend spacing your review sessions apart, a little today, a little tomorrow, and a bit more next week. It might sound slower, but the long-term results are astonishing. Students who space their practice remember 2 to 3 times more than those who cram. Remember the medical students from earlier, the ones who trained for the same surgery? The top-performing group had spread their training over several weeks, while the others had crammed it all into one day. Same effort. Different timing, completely different results. So, what are the final thoughts? These 3 strategies, testing yourself, mixing topics, and spacing your sessions, aren't just study hacks. They're backed by neuroscience. They align with how your brain actually learns through retrieval, variation, and rest. So if you've ever thought you had a bad memory, think again. You don't need a photographic brain. You just need to train it the right way. Because learning isn't about what you know right now. It's about what your brain can remember tomorrow.